5 ways to treat people. Let's read this. It's called the Golden Rule, and it says, do to others, this is Jesus, do to others whatever you would like them to do to you. This is the essence of all that is taught in the law and the prophets. Whoa! This is the essence of everything in the law and the prophets. All these books in the Bible through the years, and Jesus said, when all these things and laws he says about getting along with other people, let me get it down to this to help you. Treat them like you want people to treat you. Boy, wouldn't the world be a better place if we all did that? It would. Treat them like you want to treat you. And that's what we're going to go off of today in 5 ways to treat people, the Golden Rule. Number 1, you want other people to encourage you. Encourage them. We do. We need encouragement. We don't need discouragement. We got enough of that just going through life. Just the problems that happen. One reason I like to watch home improvement shows is you see all the trouble they have. I'm not the only one. Enough discouraging stuff in this world. We need encouragement. Now, I've got a picture here. Dale Carnegie course. This is on the wall of Warren Buffett. I don't know if you can see the name. This certifies that Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. He's got some kind of master's degree from Columbia University. Does he have a certificate of that on the wall? No. This is what he has on his wall in his office. And he points to it and he says, there's one investment that supersedes all others. When he took these courses early in his life to learn to improve how to get along with people and speaking and leadership, he said that's one of the best things I ever did in my life. Now, I say that to say this. Dale Carnegie's courses are still around. Scott Adams, who wrote the comic strip Dilbert. Anybody ever see Dilbert? That was one of my favorites because he just sort of made fun of stuff you could see as real life. Well, Scott Adams also wrote a book, and I got that from a book he read about how he decided he needed to take a Dale Carnegie course on public speaking because he was starting to go around the country and speak about his book. And so he said, I went to the course, and I think there were about 25 people in the class. And at the beginning, the instructor said, I'm going to have one method to improve your speaking, and only one method. Okay, he said, all we're going to do is compliment the speaker and let them improve from there. He said, well, I don't know that that's going to work. And so they started out, and everybody had to get up and speak. He said, most of my classmates did not want to be there. Their bosses made them come, or they just felt like they had to do something. They were so terrible. So they were so afraid to get in front of people. And it is sort of scary if you've ever got in front of people and speaking. So he said the woman got up there, and you could tell she was just a basket case. She couldn't even say a word you could understand. She was so nervous. And she was up for, he said she was sweating so bad the sweat was dripping off her chin. And finally, she just sort of mumbled a couple and sat down. And we were all so uncomfortable. And the teacher got up and he said, wow, that was brave. And he said, and it was. And we knew it was. So we all applauded. And that gave her confidence to get up next week and try again. And try again. And by the end of the course, she was a confident, very good public speaker. He said all of us did well with that one method of just complimenting and not calling out our flaws. Now, I'm not saying there's never time to confront evil, but we do a lot more calling out flaws than we do complimenting. And so he said, but that wasn't the best part. He said, what it was, he said, he made us do this thing where we complimented. We had to, early on in the class, everybody had to take a piece of paper and write a compliment about every one of the other 24 students. He says, they were strangers. I hardly knew them. How good is this going to be? He was very cynical. How good is this going to be? Writing compliments about people I hardly know. What can you put? You look nice, you smile. So anyhow, they all did it. The instructor took it up, mailed their copy to them a couple weeks later. And he said, I was so surprised when I opened that, it blew me away. Compliments just from strangers still, it hit me and helped me and encouraged me. And I am telling you, there is such power in compliments and encouraging that we don't take advantage of. You want to be encouraged. I want to be encouraged. We need to encourage others. So everybody get your card. The idea is, here's what we do a lot of times at birthdays in our family. And I know some of you are still trying to get your card back. I get that. The person whose birthday is, sometimes we just all say something good about them. And that is a very moving thing. A lot of people can't do that. To just say something good about somebody. That should be easier for us than it is. But it's hard. All right, so let's practice and learn and do it more and more. What power there is in encouragement. I want to be encouraged. You want to be encouraged. Let's encourage each other. Number 2, you want others to appreciate you. When you do something, I mean, you don't have to be, your name up in lights for everything, but it's nice for somebody to show you some appreciation. Let's thank them. That's the golden rule. How do we want to be treated? Let's treat others that way. Thank them. Don't be stingy with appreciation. It doesn't cost you anything. Why are we so stingy? Why are we holding on to it? I don't want them to get the big hit. Would you be quiet with that stuff? They're getting the small hit all the time from everything else in life that's beating them down. They're not getting the big hit. Thank them. Encourage them. Appreciate them. Don't be stingy. Be generous with appreciation. I'll say this. If you're not saying thank you every day, you're not saying it enough. And I mean that sincere. You ought to thank God every day. I ought to thank God every day. We ought to thank other people every day. And let's appreciate. Don't forget. Don't just think. Well, boy, they were so good. Don't just think it. Say it. Let them know it. It could be writing it or saying it, but let them know. Thanks. Well, and it's good. This is good to thank others. It helps you. It helps them. It's just a good spirit. So let's keep. I know you do that, Art. Let's keep doing that. Number 3, you want others to forgive you. Forgive them. Boy, that's all a big part of the gospel. The good news is that God can forgive us, will forgive us, and Jesus said, as we are forgiven, we should forgive others. Ernest Hemingway wrote a short story about a guy named Paco, and in Spain at this time when he wrote that, there was a lot of young men named Paco, and he wrote this story about how the father and the son had words. And they heated till the son said, I'm leaving. He just left home. Didn't tell him where he was going. Said, I'm going to Madrid, but I didn't know where. Before the internet, how do you find him? The father hated it. He wanted to get reconciled with his son. He finally went to Madrid. He went to the newspaper office. And he said, put this ad in the paper. Listen to them. I like this. I saw this on the internet. Some guy said, my wife just stopped and said, you weren't even listening, were you? I thought to myself, that's a pretty strange way to start a conversation. I guess he wasn't listening. Well, how do we understand each other? We don't listen. You know what a lot of discussions in marriage are? Each of them talking at the same time, trying to overtalk the other one. Or if you're quiet for even a second, you're not listening, you're thinking, what can I get them back with? And that's not listening. We need to listen more. Listen to somebody who says, you are important to me. Not listening says, you are unimportant to me. Or your words or your thoughts are unimportant to me. And so, I admit this is one I've had to work on. Well, I've had to work on all of them. But we need to practice listening to each other. You see that?
That's pretty cool.
It is. All right. Well, it's interesting to learn things about. And you know what else I like? I like when people listen to me tell stuff about me. So since I like it, we will do that to other people. Let's practice more listening in the family and everywhere. And number 5, you want others to pray for you. Pray for them. That's simple. I am so glad. It just does something for me when somebody says, Pastor, we're praying for you. Richard, we're praying for you. I prayed for you last week. I prayed for you last night. That means something to me. Take my name to the God of the universe and ask Him to bless me. That is impressive. That is important. And so we want others to pray for us. I'm sure we do. What great power there is in prayer. Let's make sure we pray for them. Now here's what I want to ask you to do when I pray in just a few minutes. When I pray and lead us in prayer in just a few minutes, I want you to pray for the person on either side of you. That's simple. Maybe if you don't know them that well, pray for the person on either side of you. And let's make that a practice, to pray for each other. All right, let's end with these things. 6 important words. Here's 6 words. I will be praying for you. Now start saying that. Well, I know many of you say it and mean it by actually praying for them. Set you a time away or something, a reminder, and actually pray. I will be praying for you. 5 important words. You did a good job. You did a good job on that song. You did a good job on that class you taught. You did a good job on that meal. You did a good job on that project. You did a good job on fixing up the lawn. You did a good job on something real. A real compliment is words, 5 important words. 4 important words. What do you think? What's your idea? What's your opinion? And mean it. I want to hear what that values that person, and you learn something. What do you think? 3 important words. All is forgiven. It's okay, it's forgiven. I forgive you. Now, 2 important words. Thank you. 2 simple, important words to use every day. Thank you. And 1 important word, we. Not just me. It's not all about me. And thank God it's not only me. It's we. We are workers together with God, and He is in it. And we are working together and loving each other and helping each other. It's we. It's we in our family. We in our church family. We with our friends. And there's power in that word. We are doing this. Not just me. It's so important how we treat each other and how we are treated. It makes such a huge difference in our life. And I think all of us can continue to grow in this. So many of you are great at this already. I don't want to tear you down. So many of you are great at this already. But I think all of us can always take a step up, 1 more notch in how we treat people.